Meantime, we got energy to watch. Oil prices are higher once again after Israel did strike back at Hezbollah in Lebanon. The real story, though, may be why oil is not even higher given some of these rising tensions. Let's check in with Brian Sullivan, talk about that and this morning's headlines regarding OPEC and the Saudis. Hey, Brian.
Yeah, or maybe why oil is not actually lower. You know, that Wall Street Journal story we'll get to in just a second. I have a fax coming in at home. It's unbelievable. Anyway, yes, they still exist. All right, so here's the thing. Let's talk first about why oil prices are not higher. Well, I think it's pretty obvious why oil prices are higher. They're up 3% to $72. That's pretty obvious. Why aren't they at $80 given all the tensions that we are seeing in the Middle East? Well, let's talk about it. Number one, you've got a couple million spare barrels of capacity that the Saudis are sitting on. Basically, OPEC could release if we see a disruption to Iran. U.S. oil production, as you guys have noted many times, is at record high, 13.2 million barrels a day as well. And the most important thing is that we have not seen a major reaction from Israel. Yes, they attacked Hezbollah sites in Beirut, Lebanon overnight, but we have not seen a big response by Israel directly at Iran, either their oil ports or the nuclear facilities. Those would be the things, guys, that we all know that would send oil much, much higher. Okay, now to the little palace intrigue story, Carl, that you sort of referenced. Big article in the Wall Street Journal today. OPEC just ended, by the way, their virtual meeting today. No change in output. None was expected. They said Russia and Iraq are now conforming. But here's the story. Is OPEC sort of on the inside fracturing? The Wall Street Journal story noted that there was a conference call either, recently, like last week or whenever it might have been, and that there were some concerns about this Saudi, price target, which there is no price target, by the way. But will they defend price, or will it devolve into a market share war and send oil maybe down to $50 a barrel? Saudis reached out directly to me, guys, and said that they didn't say the story was wrong, but they said there was no conference call recently. So it appears Saudis pushing back on the Wall Street Journal story. But I think your point, Carl, is well taken. This $50 thing getting a lot of attention this morning. I guess I'll go check my fax machine, see what just rolled in.
Yeah.
Who has a fax machine?
I know. That's really kind of bizarro. What is it, 1992 over there in the Sullivan household?
I'm glad. Listen, I'm glad that I can make the hit more interesting no matter what it was.
Well, you always make them interesting. But come back to us then. I mean, you know the Saudis as well as anyone, Brian. So how do you view this in terms of the communication you've gotten, the fact that they're questioning the Journal story? Where do you think sort of the truth really lies here?
What do they say? Somebody's talking, right? I think it comes down. Listen, OPEC's a big group. OPEC plus an even bigger group. I think it seems clear that there are likely members inside of OPEC that are sort of talking to various parts of the media, maybe myself included, who knows, and basically saying, well, here's what we think is going to happen. This is a group, everybody, they are aligned in many ways, but they are also sovereign nations, David, as you know, with their own, looking out for their own sovereign nation best interest. How do we read this? Well, I think that we read this as and I want to clear up something that has been wrong in certain parts of the media for a couple weeks now. There is no Saudi Arabian or OPEC price target. There is no official OPEC or Saudi price target. I want to clear that up. There's been a lot of talk about defending higher prices, but I think this is a clear sign that some in the group maybe are not happy with their quotas, that they are sort of being allowed, I'm using air quotes, to pump out. So says my fax, anyway.
Got it. All right. Well, keep us abreast of all things, including whatever faxes you're getting over there, Brian. Thank you.